It's time for the Drugless Doctor. Call a friend or family member now and let them benefit from today's exciting and life-changing program. If you want to lead a healthier life, the time is now.
Hello everybody, this is Dr. Anthony and Dr. Debbie DeMaria with another episode of the Drugless Doctor. And today we have a phenomenal guest here. I mean, I couldn't think of a better guest that I could possibly have on today's show than my mom. So today we're going to be able to ask Debbie DeMaria some questions about her experience through natural health care and chiropractic, because I know that she's gone through so many different changes over the course of the nearly 40 years that she's been involved with this profession. So let's start at the beginning. And I should say, first of all, thank you for being here today.
You are so welcome.
You know, starting at my beginning would be a great thing, because you've always been my mom from the very beginning. But let's start pre that.
Okay.
When you first met Dr. Bob DeMaria and he was going to be a chiropractor, and that beginning stages of what chiropractic is, what was life like back then, and how did chiropractic first start to impact your life?
Well, I'll tell you what. It was prior to us actually getting married, and he was going to chiropractic college, and believe it or not, I had this headache that just would not go away. I've never really gotten headaches before, but this headache was so bad that as I took steps to cross the street to go to get my car in a parking lot, it was pounding, and I thought, this is awful. The only thing I could do was go home and go to bed. And my husband said, you need to go to a chiropractor. We'll take you to my mother's chiropractor. And I thought, okay, this is a new experience. I don't even know how to say this correctly, but I'm gonna try it. And within an adjustment or two, the whole experience changed. And that was a transforming moment in my whole life, because I knew I was on a path to something, and the excitement that happened to me in my life from that moment till now is something that will continue on. It doesn't stop, and that's the most exciting thing. Would you like me to keep going?
Well, I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions.
All
but
right.
For our viewing audience that is unfamiliar with chiropractic, let's start at the beginning. For those that are unfamiliar with anatomy, brain sits in the skull. Brain continues as this thing called the spinal cord. Off of the spinal cord comes nerves. The nerves are in constant communication with the body, of all parts of the body, to the brain all day long. Whether it's a gland, whether it's an organ, whether it's a tissue, whether it's one cell, the nervous system is always in constant communication, monitoring and adapting to what goes on. If our spine goes out of position, we call that in chiropractic subluxation. Sub means less, lux means energy. There's less energy getting to where the nerves are connected because of misalignment of the spine. So what ends up happening when someone gets an adjustment, the nervous system releases energy to the body, and the body starts to heal itself from the inside out. So what you were experiencing was the body's own ability to heal itself using the master control system, the brain and the nervous system. So let's do a brief overview. What are some of the things that you would say, you know, between chiropractic care and the natural health changes and choices that I've made along the way, these are the things that have made the biggest difference in my life over the years?
Okay, so first of all, is chiropractic adjustments. I cannot take anything away from that, because that is first and foremost. Not only for myself, but as I learned about what chiropractic could do for me, it changed my mom's life, my dad's life, my sister's life, my niece's life, cousins, my sons, my daughter-in-law. It has changed a myriad of people, because I have become an advocate for chiropractic. So there's not anywhere that I go that I don't say, there's a better way, or I know the choice that you're making, there's something that you could do in addition to that. And so chiropractic adjustments is my very first. And that has taken me through a spinal problem that I had because I had stress. I had a weak lower back, and that was because of birth the birth process of my children and holding and carrying my children. So my back, I really had to learn how to strengthen my lower back through chiropractic adjustments and exercises. I found myself in Germany one time, believe it or not, visiting a cousin with my family, and went totally incapacitated. It was so bad I could not move. I had to sleep on a table that was low. I could not get it into the bed. It was too soft for me. I had to stand to go to the bathroom, and the only thing I could do was get small chiropractic adjustments. Through chiropractic care, I was actually able to make the trip back from Germany. I would have not been able to come home had I not had chiropractic care. I also know for my dad, he experienced a lot of headaches and backaches, and he transformed his life. My children, oh my goodness, Dr. Anthony, there was never a time that you were without chiropractic care. Actually, Dr. Anthony had jaundice when he was born. And let me tell you, we didn't even have a recognition of what we could do for children back then, but through chiropractic care and nutritional supplements that I actually gave him when we were in the hospital and nursed him to health, he was out of the hospital in record time. What we learned later on is jaundice was something that was affected by a liver, and that was transported to me from my mom. And then it was actually given to Anthony, Dr. Anthony, because he was my second child. So there's so much that we learned, but chiropractic care and the adjustments were my first. Let me tell you about our story in food. We then realized how much food, and probably because the quality of our food has gone down. So when I was younger and my children were younger, the food that we ate it was a better quality, and we had a lot more farm fresh food than you have to go searching for that nowadays, because grocery stores don't really give you farm fresh food. Grocery stores give you, and I'm blessed because of them, because it feeds our nation, but they give it to you from all over the world, so we're not even quite sure how long it's been since those things were picked. But learning that the quality of your food and what types of food you eat affect not only your spine, but your whole overall health. How's that, Dr. Anthony?
You know what, we have quite a bit of stuff that we've already gone over here so far. Now, transformation. Let's talk a little bit about Dr. Case and I joining the practice. I know that we've been nearly a part of the office for 5 years, and we've seen things change and grow. What are some of the things that you would say that you've noticed differently about how technology has helped chiropractic transform not only your life, but the lives of our practice members?
Well, I do know one of the things is that, let me say, first of all, the traditional chiropractic adjustment versus the adjustments that our office has transported to right now. Okay, so what we used to do is a lot of what chiropractors were used to doing, and there was a lot of movement. So in a lot of movement, there was a lot of noise, and that wasn't anything wrong with it, but what it did do is it scared people because they were unfamiliar with it, and they were wondering, well, is that hurting me? What is going on here? And so what we do now is from traditional chiropractic, which I still actually prefer sometimes, not all the time, we went to something more specific. And I just have to tell you about our X-ray machine. That's probably one of the first things I see, and really we're able to hone in and to make a zone into the exact vertebra that is out of alignment right now, and that's because of our X-ray machine. And so we have what we call fluoro, and this is high technology. It's actually a video X-ray. So we're seeing in live time how the vertebra in the body are actually moving, because see, they're all made to move and be in sync with each other, but sometimes then you actually see the one that's out of sync, and then our doctors now are able to give very specific adjustments. The adjustments they give now, believe it or not, modern technology, the tables do most of the work. So where the doctor used to do a lot of the manual work, Now the tables do a lot of the work. So in a small thrust, the table will deliver the rest, and you don't really hear the cracking noises that you've heard before. And that was just bones moving in your body, bringing an alignment to your spine. That's one of the major ones.
Well, you know what? I think that's pretty good. And let me just give a couple of clarifying statements too. The motion is really important. If you hear noise during an adjustment, that is gas being released in the joints. Now, there's 26 movable vertebrae as a part of our spine, and there are between 4, 8, and 16 different joint connections with vertebra at each segment. So there's a lot of movable parts that are in there. If you ever do hear cracking as a result of twisting, it's a release of gas. So that is normal, but the most important thing is the brain gets better messages to the body when you get the right vertebra in the right position at the right time. So Dr. Kaysen, why don't you talk to me and with Debbie here a little bit about maybe some other things that could be going on with her that have been addressed through chiropractic and natural health care.
Well, I know with listening to your stories, you have had quite the transformation overall, and I know that what we're going to do is we're going to take a short break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk specifically hormonally how chiropractic has helped you. So stay tuned.
I'm a chiropractor because my goal, my passion is to help people get better without medication.
There's different types of chiropractic. I wanted to be involved in something that was bigger than myself.
Here, I would say it's been so much more than just seeing those lives transform. It's been being able to be a part of their transformation.
Wellness is a state of mental, social, and physical well-being.
Really, wellness is from the inside out, being able to have your body make the decisions on its own, naturally, without drugs, medications, or surgeries.
We work and strive at addressing each one of those different facets of wellness so that it's really a well-rounded overall approach for an individual.
I think the atmosphere is really very welcoming. I think all three really work well together as a team.
It's much more than you would find somewhere else. The individuality of it, the recommendations, the doctor's expertise.
We do not use a cookie cutter plan. Every person that comes into our office is very unique, and they have specific plans and treatment protocols specific for their findings.
Utilizing our innovative tools and technology, we're able to get the best results and faster, and it's really easy on the practice member, specifically with the thermal scans that we do. By measuring the ambient skin temperature, we're able to measure from each assessment how the pattern's changing.
We offer digital video fluoroscopy, motion films of a person's spine, getting right to the root cause.
From someone that was previously diagnosed with ADHD and was having developmental delays in speech, working with them here and seeing the transformation of them developmentally, other things, attention span, energy, colic, all these things that are improving over a period of time.
So whether it's a little baby that's getting adjusted for the first time, or a mom that's getting adjusted, or an athlete, it's really cool to see what we're able to do and how that can impact their life for the long term.
The two things, chiropractic care and nutrition, go hand in hand, and you really need both components. You can't just say, I'll do whatever I want nutritionally and then just have chiropractic care and Dr. Bob will just fix me. Really, you have to have both going together.
In our wellness store, we offer a variety of different products. They're all professional lines and products that are tried and true. We have many different types of evaluations and assessments that can tell us what supplement is going to be best for one of our practice members here in the office, so that we're just not throwing the dice when it comes to their health.
The Drugless Doctors is very forward-thinking. It's a lot different than anything else that I had ever seen before, so I felt like I was learning something new.
We have information on social media, our website, our blog. We do TV programs, so we're always putting out good quality information, because more often than not I hear from somebody, I never knew that, Or I got that information from a magazine or a TV program, and I never really knew that that wasn't correct.
So being able to give them simple tools and natural principles that they can be able to empower themselves to make every day, that's really, it's really exciting for me to be able to see people and their changed lifestyles.
Come and join us and participate with natural drugless chiropractic care.
Welcome back to another episode of The Drugless Doctor. And I know we are here today and we are with a wonderful guest here, and Debbie is sharing her experience of 40 years of transformation with chiropractic care. And I know going back to the basics of what we are talking about is the nervous system. The brain sits in the skull and travels down as that spinal cord, and if there's any kind of misalignment or what we call subluxation in the spine, whether it's from birth, gravity, stress, foods, environment, that impacts spinal function. So as chiropractors, we are delivering specific adjustments to improve that communication. Now, I know, Debbie, with talking with you and your experience, why don't you share a little bit, how has chiropractic helped to support your body as a woman and hormonally? Because I know we see so many women in our practice and they're looking for another answer to be able to support their body naturally and they don't know what to do.
Okay, well, I have a little bit, I'm going to back up on something that will lead into that.
Okay.
But what happened to my husband and I actually 10 years ago was we had a motorcycle accident. And prior to the motorcycle accident, we were working on a book together. And we got in a motorcycle accident, and I do want to say, because of chiropractic care, we were both thrown from our motorcycle. I ended up having a torn PCL, but through all the things that I needed to go through, including the emergency room, including PT, including all kinds of items, they kept saying to me, I'm in such good shape. I'm coming through this so fast. It has to be the chiropractic care. It has to be your non-inflammatory diet that is helping you through this. And all of it went back to chiropractic. But what it did do is it took a lot of time out of my life. And so my husband and I were not able to devote the time we gave to the book that we were originally writing, which we ended up writing. But what he did during that time is he started to think about some of the things that I was going through, which really resulted in his famous Amazon top #1 in all these years, female hormone book. And it was based a lot on me, believe that or not, Dr. Kaysen, in the things I experienced, you know, hormonally. And a lot of it then was not actually what I was experiencing because I actually was doing the right thing with my diet, the support of supplements and chiropractic care, but many people out there were not. But I heard what was going on through friends about, believe it or not, dry vaginas, sex that was hurting, breasts that were tender, menstrual cycles that were lasting a long amount of time, hot flashes, non-focused. And so what ended up through all of that was my husband's book, because we started to do research, I started to ask more questions, and that transformation was huge. Do you know that I don't think I've ever had a hot flash before? And I don't take any medication. I only do supplements. I do watch what I do. And so hormonally, and if you help eliminate stress in your life, you can have a better lifestyle. And so it doesn't take a lot. I would suggest chiropractic care, of course, #1. Making some changes to your diet. And everybody always feels that saying, I can't eat this anymore, I can't eat this anymore. But it's tweaking it. Sometimes, for example, I talked about non-inflammatory diet. Do you know what one of the healthy things that most people eat that can cause a lot of inflammation in their body is fruit? And so it's finding that out to switch from let's say, apples, pears, or plums and not eat strawberries, watermelons, and peaches anymore. And so it's taking certain things out, maybe putting new things in, a lot more greens, and supplementing correctly. Do you know 9 out of 10 people that are taking supplements right now are taking the wrong kind of supplements? One, they're taking supplements they heard of something on TV, looked on the internet, or their best friend is taking. And it's really not for their body. And so we are very specific of what is for your body to take. And I believe that's been a bonus to me all my life because I've really been tested on what I should take through either blood tests, saliva tests, or some other type of technical tests that we do in the office. So my hormones run smoothly, Dr. Kaysen.
That is exciting news. So I know Dr. Anthony over here, what would you like to share as far as I know there's so many different things that we could ask Debbie, but specifically even you being Dr. Anthony, how you've seen transformation in your mom's life, even with chiropractic care.
You know, what's really interesting is I would say that we are the atypical normal family.
Yes.
How does that sound? We are no drugs, no surgery, do everything as your body was intended to do. And as a result, you don't have the health challenges that other friends and families might go through and or the runaround through the medical system. So I would say that that's probably the biggest thing that I noticed is that our family's health is much different than others as a result of what goes on. Now, maybe when I was younger, it wasn't always the easiest because you weren't doing what everybody else did, but as time goes on, you don't want to do what everybody else does because that's what gets them the issues that they have. So what are some of the key points that you would say, some simple, easy nuggets that you might suggest to somebody that's never experienced chiropractic care, diet, or nutritional changes? How would you suggest about them going about it?
Well, the first thing is do some research. And I would suggest going to our website. We have 2 wonderful websites, druglessdoctor.com or druglessdoctors.com, with a lot of information. See, there's a lot of information out there, but it's not always the correct information. You also want to find out when they talk about research, who is paying for that research, because that tends to tip the scale on what kind of information you're actually reading about. And so those are things that I believe that you should really find out. A next thing is check our schedule. We always have free something in our office. There's a half hour to health in our office live the first Wednesday at noon and Thursday at 6 every month. And that information is huge. You know, we're out in the community all the time trying to give information. But I feel if you're going through anything, you need to give chiropractic a try. Come and even call and say, Debbie said I can make a consultation with one of our doctors. Let me come in and talk to the doctor about what is going on in me. You know, we have a myriad of different kinds of people from birth to 90, probably 90 plus years old as a practice member. And the whole thing is we can touch lives in any of the generations. I think right now you could come to our office at any time of the day and think it was a pediatric office. And I think that has a lot to do with what Dr. Anthony and Dr. Kaysen have done. They've actually got certified in International Chiropractic Pediatric Association. And that has brought new techniques, new probably partners into our life, and it also has brought healthy families into our practice.
You know what? You have a lot of great information. I really enjoy what you're sharing because there's so many people that I know that go through challenges that they needlessly suffer with that we've been able to see and help them with. Just the stories from the people in the office this week are enough to change anybody's lives because they're able to get better without